We're now going to take a look at various types of locks, how they work, and how a complete entrance control system can function. Mike Kirkpatrick, owner of a local locksmith business, will show us the basics of locks and keys. And following that will be Don Grant, a local expert in card keys and access controls.
The mortise lock is the most common hardware that a security officer will find in a commercial application. It is a device built into doors that provides a massive amount of metal and will put a good amount of security. The security guard will attempt to check these doors to make sure they're locked, and among the most common problems that a security guard will find is an unlocked door and no way to lock it. The most common method would be to lock it by pushing the buttons found on the edge of the door, located in some brands below the latch, as in this one, sometimes above the latch. But there will be a pair of buttons, one of them pushed in, one pushed out. If the door is unlocked, then switching the positions of the buttons will lock the door without the need for calling for other people or the keys to operate it. The tubular lock, sometimes called a cylindrical lock, is the most popular lock in smaller commercial buildings. Its ease of installation lowers installation costs and becomes very popular to the people with the money. It is a type of lock that comes in many different functions. Now, the deadbolt lock operates as a key-operated function. The latch, which we have over here, provides an operation to close the door and latch it without using a key. It's spring-loaded and allows closure of the door. When the door closes, the strike plate, which is always mounted on the frame, will slide the beveled surface back, and when the door is in the closed position completely, that will allow the latch itself to pop out into the frame and keep the door closed. The door cannot open against the flat surface of the latch. This pin that I'm holding in is referred to as a dead latch or a dead pin, and provides a function that is very important in this day, in which it dead latches. The latch cannot be forced back. The knob has to be turned to retract it. Sometimes in installation, this pin is not allowed to do its function. It pops into the frame with the rest of the latch. This is an improper fit and voids the ability of the lock to stay dead latched. Someone with credit card or knife can force the latch back. If the pin is in the retracted position, the latch cannot be forced back through the crack between the frame and the door. Locks provide a service in buying time. No lock is impregnable. All locks can be compromised if given enough time. But their purpose is to buy time. If there are 90 doors in a given building, a security guard cannot be at all 90 doors every moment. So the locks provide a security officer with the ability to keep control of the situation. In the design of a master key system, the mathematics that are used to keep keys separate from each other. No keys are designed alike. No two key systems are designed alike. So a missing master key system is of vital importance. It could lead to large amounts of losses, and at the very least it will mean some amount of expense in having the system redesigned and reinstalled.
Okay, I'm here today to talk about electronic access control systems. And the main advantage of an electronic access control system is that it can control and record who goes where and when. There are several types of products that we can use to accomplish that. And I'm going to start with our telephone entry system. The way this unit works is you would walk up if you were a visitor and wanted to go inside the facility, and there would be an electronic display, and you would look up the the phone number of the person that you're trying to reach, and punch in that code. And it's not really his phone number, but rather a code. Then it converts the code to the person's phone number, automatically dials up, and then the resident could answer, talk to you on the telephone, and if they want to allow you to have access, then they push a button on their keypad, and it unlocks the door and allows you to gain access. Another device that is quite common is the keypad, and this has a housing which covers it, but this is strictly a numeric device, and you punch in your code, and if it's the proper code, it also will unlock the door or whatever the application is to allow access. One of the things I'll mention along the way is that the main control device of these systems is generally a computer, and the computer will record what person uses the device, at what time, what location, and what date. And if it is not a valid access attempt, then the computer will also record why access was denied. We have many types of card readers that we use in our access control systems, multiple technologies. I'll start with perhaps the most basic technology, and that's a magnetic stripe. The mag stripe is similar to your bank card, and you simply insert it in the reader and swipe it down. And again, if all parameters are met correctly in the computer, you will be granted access. This particular type of device has a keypad built in, which means that if you want, you can require 2 levels of access. One is the card. Secondly, you might require that the person uses a PIN, a personal identification number. This keypad can also be used as a duress device, so that if you're forced to open the door to allow somebody in, you can use your card, make a slight modification in your PIN, which is using the asterisk key at the end of your entry, and then that will send a silent alarm to the monitoring location. Another type of technology is the proximity. And with this type of device, rather than making an insertion of the card, you simply need to get it within a certain proximity of the reader. Here we have 4 different sizes of readers, 1, 2, 3, and the 4th being hidden behind the wall here. This mullion mount reader has a read range of only about 3 inches. As you move to the light switch size, it will read about 5 inches. You get down to the thermostat size, it's 6 to 8 inches. And then as you get to the bigger size, which is about 1 foot square, it also has about a 1 foot read range. There are larger devices available that will read out as far as 2.5 feet. A very popular type of technology today is called Wiegand, and it has little wires that are embedded in the card, a very high-tech type of device. But you just run that through the reader like this. It's a swipe type reader, but it has no magnetic properties to it, and as a result, it's very high security, and at the same time does not have any detrimental effect on any other magnetic devices. A relatively new technology, but one we think that is going to become very popular, is the combination of key and key reader, so that you can use this device through a regular key lock, and it'll grant you access just based on how your key is cut. But then secondly, this is almost the same as a card. There's a chip in here, and it's encoded, and then you can put this in a key reader so that now you have basically an electronic access control system combination with this device. It's new technology, but again, we think it's going to be very popular. I'll touch briefly on the area of biometrics. We think it's something that's going to be quite common in the future. They're not being used a lot today, primarily due to the expense of them. However, the most popular biometric device today is the fingerprint unit. And again, you have a keypad which you can use to bring up the file for you, and then it will require that you put your finger here, and it will digitize a picture of it and compare to the template that's been on the database, and if everything is met, then it will grant access. There's also a device that measures your eye retina, the pattern there. There's a hand geometry device, there's a voice device, and then also there is a signature device.
We will now return to the panel session for a few pointers. Let's see what Jeff, Paul, and Bill have to say.
Jeff, it seems as though the job of security officer really does involve a variety of things like working at daytime, working at night, working in the public, working alone, doing complicated tasks or simple routines.
Yes, you're right, Bill. When you get a chance to be a security officer, the opportunity opens up wide for you to work many, many different job sites, and you can do all that right through the very same one employer.
Paul, security really is a growing field today, isn't it?
Sure is, Bill. Right now, we outnumber police 2.5 times to 1, and the ratio is growing every day. It's a good professional career to get into, and training such as this is going to be an absolute must as time goes on.
On a different note, from your experience, what can you tell security officers to lower their legal liability?
Well, the first thing you need to do is always know and follow your post orders. Don't overstep your authority, and always document situations carefully.
Jeff, is it safe to say that most security officers play a common role?
Yes, it sure is, Bill, and that's to deter and detect theft from fire, accidents, and to do that from good, proper observing and effective report writing techniques.
I would like to conclude this segment of the training tape by pointing out a few likely trends in the security field which will give us all opportunities. First of all, we will probably be doing a lot of jobs that the police previously have done. We will need to learn more about high-tech security equipment. We will be getting much more specialized training. Clients will be expecting a lot more from us. And the computer security field is just starting.